Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily get-together live here on Facebook at 10:30 in the morning every single day, where we exchange headlines, comments, ideas, suggestions, tips on how to take advantage of everything that Puerto Vallarta has to offer as an English-speaking for the English-speaking community that we are, the English-speaking community of locals that call this home, whether home is all the time or home is for a few months every year. This is what we do. We get together and we figure out how to best enjoy our destination. If you're new to this broadcast, my name is Paco, and you can let us know that you're new by writing the word new in your comment. And if you have specific questions or comments that you wish to address or discuss during the broadcast, it helps a lot if you add the letter Q at the beginning of your comment. That way we can try to spot it better, because sometimes the comments go by fairly quickly. We want to make sure that we take care of all the important things that you may want to discuss. And if we don't get to it during the program, we can always take a look at it right after that. Today, we have all kinds of interesting, wonderful news, thought-provoking comments. A couple of you got in touch with me about some incidents that happened at Apaches, and we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about General Cienfuegos, who's out of the United States. This is the former general who was charged by the Drug Enforcement Agency in the United States, and he is now back in Mexico. He spent the night at his home. What's going to happen with him next? We're going to look at that, and we have we have all kinds of fun stuff today, and we have some amusing reactions, great reactions to all the signaling that we were doing yesterday, the this and the that and the that and the that and the this. So we're going to talk a little bit more about these today. So without further ado, let me take a quick look at who's here so that we can say some beginning hellos. Anaheim, hello, John. It's great to see you. The beautiful and wonderful Claude, it's great to see you, my friend. Linda is always here. David is in chilly Boston, if I recall correctly. Betsy is chiming in from Emiliano Zapatas. That's wonderful. Kelly made it. I think you were coming in, right, Kelly? Is in La Cruz de Guanacaxtle. That is wonderful. Playa Los Muertos is in the house. Did I see something wonderful? Rod says, good morning, fellow hermits. I am a fellow hermit. I, for better or worse, I love spending time here at home with my baby Luna. I am a total. Oh no. Mourning the passing of Mario Campos, owner of La Cueva. La Cueva was or is a very popular gay bar here in Puerto Vallarta for the vaquero community, the Mexican cowboys. And I had no idea that Mario had passed away. This is very sad news to hear. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, Kelly mentions that made it without any problems. I couldn't believe how empty the airport was. That is absolutely wonderful. Wonderful to hear. And we don't have any important questions that I can see as of yet. So we might as well get started with the broadcast today. So let us hit the news button and go there. Well, as I mentioned yesterday, there was this deal worked out between the Mexican government and the U.S. government to liberate um, General Cienfuegos from his money laundering and drug trafficking charges in the United States. And he flew back to Mexico, and he spent the night in his home. He is a free man for the time being, but now the question is, how and where is he going to be charged? This is something that a lot of people are keeping an eye on. On the one hand, Mexico is aware of the fact that this man needs to respond against these allegations. The United States, the DEA, is fuming over the fact that he was let go. And again, he was let go unscathed from the U.S. prosecutors because the U.S. government made a deal with the Mexican government. Mexican government essentially said, if you don't give him back, we're going to get all your drug enforcement agency officials that are doing, undercover work in Mexico, and they won't be able to continue to do that. So there is tension between the two governments. Needless to say, the United States would like to see this man charged if for the crimes he committed. Needless to say, Mexico is wondering what is going to happen because, on the one hand, our president, Manuel López Obrador, has been very clear over the fact that he will not allow for corrupt governments to continue to take place in Mexico. On the other hand, he has placed enormous trust on the Secretary of Defense as an institution to protect our ports and to do a whole series of things against drug enforcement. So Mexico's eyes are also, at least the political eyes, are also looking at this closely. We'll have to see what happens in the near future, and we're going to keep taking a close look at this bit of news. There was something that caught my attention today that I wanted to share with you, and this has to do with the fact that City Hall in City Hall in the supposedly friendliest city in the world, Puerto Vallarta, is not a wheelchair accessible friendly building. And for several administrations, there have been plans and projects and design ideas to build an elevator in the building so that people that need to access the building in a dignified way can do so. But nothing has really happened there. It was back in 2013, while Javier Bravo was the mayor of Puerto Vallarta, that an elevator was budgeted at a cost of 3 million pesos, but this never materialized. Hopefully, something will happen with this, but clearly it is thought-provoking that Puerto Vallarta's most important business building does not welcome people that need to move about on a wheelchair. So let me very quickly throw a mini poll at you. I want to ask you how, hold on just a second. There you go. How important is wheelchair accessibility to you as you go about your business here in Puerto Vallarta? I pushed the button twice, so I hope the poll is on your screen. I cannot actually see the poll, but the poll is on your screen because I see that you are voting. We'll kind of come back and take a look at those results later on in the program. I'll be curious to see where we are as far as this is concerned as a community. In other news, we know that there was a double murder right outside of Paco's ranch not even a month ago, I believe, and a suspect has been apprehended. His name is Christian Alejandro N. We don't know his last name, but apparently this man started molesting or bothering a woman inside of the club, and he was taken out, and this generated a discussion, and this man went away, came back, and with a gun, and he shot two people. He shot Rigo Medina Quintero and Martín Malpica Perez. He has been identified and he has been apprehended by the authorities, and we're going to have to see what goes on with the outcome of this situation. Dear, this is just crazy, crazy, crazy news. Fernando Gonzalez Corona. Fernando Gonzalez Corona, who is the only businessman in town so powerful that he has the means to have a federal highway changed to accommodate his development, Garza Blanca, has now announced a multi-million, ginormous real estate project behind Garza Blanca. There is a render here that makes the current hotel and operations look puny compared to all these buildings that are being planned for above on the mountains that are going to be turned into condominiums and hotels. There is a shopping center planned. There is all kinds of things. This happens to be the developer or the man behind, of course, Garza Blanca and behind the Vallarta Tribune and other projects here in the city. And if you connect the dots and you look at how close these projects are to the hydroelectric dam that is being planned at the Rio Los Horcones, then you can jump to your own conclusions and figure out who is behind what. Now, this is authorized, apparently. It's a huge project that will involve new hotels, La Garceta and Hotel Echoes and Villas de Montaña, a boutique hotel, residences, a spa, and all kinds of other things that are going to completely turn our mountain into concrete. It happens. What can I tell you? I'm not crazy about this, but this is one of the reasons why I'm not the editor of the Vallarta Tribune anymore, should they have wanted to keep me. But that's just me. It is sad to report that our president, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador's sister, passed away unexpectedly due to complications from diabetes. She passed away yesterday. She was Candelaria Beatriz Lopez. She lived in the capital city of Chiapas, and she was 56 years of age. Our president has received condolences from many other Mexican and international dignitaries, including some Mexican former presidents that are now potentially going to be tried by Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador's government for however they behaved during their administrations. And wow, we just zoomed through the important news. I can't believe we went by so quickly, but that's what we have. Jeannie says she can't see the survey. I saw some answers on the survey. In fact, I have a bunch of answers on the survey. So the survey is out there, and I will take a look at it in a second. Let me first take a look at your initial comments just to see where we're at. Yes, absolutely. And again, if you start digging into this, Paul, it is fascinating. And of course, Coffee and Headlines and this particular broadcast is not the best place to do this, but this begs so many questions about who's making decisions, particularly when the United States is presently under such a complicated election process. Who's making decisions in the United States? Who's making decisions in Mexico? And what this implies for the future relationship between the two countries is absolutely fascinating, and it's absolutely important to follow. We're going to keep keeping tracks of this. I was, of course, hoping that Terry would chime in when we talk about accessibility, because we know that this is what Terry does here in town for a living. She provides equipment for people that require equipment to solve their mobility issues. And I am interested in seeing exactly where we are as a community. There you go. This is important for Den, and accessibility has improved enormously since we started coming here in 2003. This is really good to know. And now, Den, as Versailles residents, I know that you and your spouse are Versailles residents, more and more streets are being remodeled in Versailles with accessibility in mind, and this is comforting to see. More comments from Terry. Thank you so very much. Kathy loves the polls. If you love the polls, we can have polls every single day. I'd love to know what you're thinking, because this helps me better fine-tune what kind of stories to share with you. Yes, this is absolutely true. It's a culturally different thing, Den, and this is something that for some people may be difficult to appreciate. So I'm glad that you are looking at it with an open mind, and I'm hoping that the more we talk about these things, the more people will find them important or interesting. Your reactions to development are very understood and very appreciable. Um, some elderly also appreciate the elevators or ramps, even though not in a wheelchair. Absolutely true. Uh, Claude cuts to the chase. Is Mota legal yet here? Hang on to your trousers, baby. We're going to have some news about the legality of the Mota in a second. Elaine is thinking very much about what I'm thinking. You know, this is the habitat of so many species. But there is no stopping the progress of humanity. I mean, where does one find the balance? How can one make an educated comment about these things? It becomes really, really challenging. Challenging. Thank you very much for that suggestion, Mandy. We will take a look at the results in a second. Um, Thank you very much, Wes. Yes, I actually intended it as a personal question. Although, you know, if you wish to answer it as how important is it to you that the city where you live has these things, you know, it's either way. It's either way. I'm just trying to get some information about where you're at. Uh, Really, Paul? I can do a pole dance. I will do a pole dance today if you no because no I'm just wearing. You don't want to know what I'm wearing down there, so no, I'm not going to go there. But I do want to do a little dance that I had to do last night, and it has to do with you, and I'll explain that in a second. Let us first make sure that the weather is ready to go, and I think the weather's ready to go. So, bam. 29 degrees Celsius feels like 29. It doesn't feel any hotter than it is. It's 84 degrees Fahrenheit, but check it out. Humidity is only 47%. It keeps getting better and better. Let's go out for walks. Let's go out, do all kinds of things now that we can. Of course, exercising all the guidelines that we know and are getting ready and used to loving more and more as we go by. Can we ever love these new guidelines? I don't know. I'm just trying to be optimistic here. The weather forecast for today: clear throughout the day, high of 34, humid throughout the day tomorrow. But again, these lower humidities don't actually matter that much. And on Saturday, humid throughout the day. It's going to be a high of 31, so I think we're going to be looking forward to a lovely, lovely evening. I mean, weekend this weekend. Let's see, what else do we have? Should we look at the results? Yes, let's look at the results, and the results are here. It is wheelchair accessibility is very important to almost half of you, somewhat important to some of you, 33%, and 20% of you said not very. I'm glad to see that that this is important to the community as a whole. I can certainly understand why it not might be very important to some. For example, I don't have friends or family that require mobility accessories, but that does not mean that I don't feel that the cause is important. But this gives me a good idea because I know that Terry and I have been having conversations behind the scenes about how to bring awareness to the community at large of how important these issues are. And I am very, very comforted to see that this continues to be important to you. I get goosebumps because ultimately what we want to do is become much more aware of the needs of the community as they relate to our own personal needs. Isn't that a complicated dance? What do you think of that? Now, let's see what else we have here. Okay, I want to start with a comment that I. Terry wants me to go on a scooter and go live like a person that has to be in. Okay, I will go on a scooter with you, Terry. Of course, I will. Let us do. Let us do a scooter thing at some point. I don't know when, but let us do a scooter thing. Michael is asking, is Mr. Pico available to say hi. Oh my goodness. Well, maybe, just maybe, if you behave, we will look for the pickle. He may be around, he may not be around. We never know where the pickle is going to be or when he's going to show up. Um, let's see if we call for a special pickle dance or something. Let me start with how about a pinche Heather? You crack me up. A poll of who's naked from the waist down during your show and who isn't. We're trying to be subtle here, Heather, but I can tell you it's not naked. It is well enclosed in 100% cotton. There's no nakedness down there. And I'm giving too much information, so let's stop this right now. Here's something fun and important that arose from yesterday. Check this out. A question for me. Just finished watching the show. I see on TV that many in the USA touch elbows rather than shake hands as it is safer with regard to spreading COVID. When we meet a Mexican friend or have a delivery made to my home and the Mexicans want to shake hands and I indicate to just nudge each other's elbows, is that considered to be rude? I know about slapping your own elbow when referring to someone as being cheap, codo, because in Spanish, when somebody's being stingy with money, we call them codo, and codo is elbow. But is banging elbows with another person also rude? Ah, beautiful watcher. Welcome to the awkward new land of how the fuck do we say hello to one another? Isn't it fun? Isn't it crazy? The good news about this particular question is that nothing is rude as far as the elbow and I think it's really funny now that we go out and about and we encounter people that have different criteria on how to say hello. If somebody reaches out with their hand and I feel like I want to shake this person's hand because I know it, I will shake the hand back. If I feel like maybe I don't want to, I may just go like this, or I may do the elbow. Yesterday, I was out in a restaurant and we were doing little dances of, putting out the elbow and putting out the butt. So, whoops, see, I'm moving everything here. Putting out the butt to be slapped and so forth and so on. What I want to say here is that saying hello is awkward for everyone right now, whether you're Mexican, American, Canadian, whatever. I mean, I have friends that are very close to me and I will not think twice to just hug them, because that's a choice I make for myself and I feel safe enough sharing that risk with some people that I love. I ran into someone yesterday that I hadn't seen in a while, and she said to me, "Can I hug you?" And I myself have asked that question of people that I have not seen in a while because it is in my nature of hugging people. And some people have said yes, and some people have said, "I'd rather we just do the elbow." So I think it's perfectly okay. I think this is just a naturally weird, funny, awkward moment in life where we are learning new rituals, and this is something that we're going to continue to navigate. And I thought this particular topic was important to everyone. If you disagree, by all means, please let me know. We also, as long as we're talking about this and that and the other, we ran into a very amusing situation because one of the things that I described yesterday, I described one of the hand signals. This one is dangerous. This one is kind of like saying to someone, go fuck yourself. But then it was really funny because Jorge from New York said, well, I thought that signal meant something else. Like, do you want to go frolic? Do you want to go do the nasty? Do you want to spank the monkey? Do you want some pickle tickle? So I said to Jorge, send me a photograph of the exact signal that you're referring to. And Jorge sent me this. So Jorge says to me, well, I have had some friends that have told me that when you do that, it means that you want to go have sex with me. So considering the two opposites, meanings or alleged meanings to the hand signal, I'm not going to take chances. If I run into my dear friend, Mark, who is in the house, hello, Mark, I'm going to use you as my guinea pig. If I go like this to Mark, I don't want Mark to have to decide whether I'm saying go fuck yourself or let's have sex. So if I want Mark to go fuck himself, I might use a different, more transparent signal, like my mouth, and I might say, Mark, go fuck yourself. And if I am contemplating the possibility of having sex with Mark, well, I just want to make sure that I send a more transparent kind of signal. So that's all I have about this particular gesture. In general, my personal opinion is stay away from it. You don't want to get into trouble. The end. Now, check this out. IKEA is coming. We mentioned that their first physical store was coming to Mexico. Their website is ready to go. You can shop IKEA in ikea.com.mx. But they're going to open their first retail operation in Mexico City at the beginning of 2021. I know that IKEA people either love it or hate it. I used to buy a bunch of things. I used to, when I was a big compulsive consumer, I used to go to the store and just Google at so many things. I looked at the catalog the other day, and half the things that they had available, they don't even have in stock. So we're going to have to wait and see what goes on with this particular operation. But if you want to go into the IKEA website in Mexico, it's ikea.com.mx. You can check it out. Let me see what kind of comments you have before we move on, because we still have some juicy things to share. La la di la 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 la. Param pam pum pam pum pam pum. What happened at Apaches? Oh, I'm getting there in a second. I will get that too. I will get to that in a second. I don't like shaking hands. I get that. What a show, from potty mouth birds to hand gestures. Oh, of course, we got to have a little bit of everything here, Kelly. Sometimes we walk like an Egyptian. I don't even know how Egyptians walk because I never saw the music video to that song. So Terry, if you want to send me a video of you walking like an Egyptian, you will make me laugh, I am sure. And Cami suggested jazz hands. And Mark, I want to see a video of what jazz hands are, because you and I are musicians, but a lot of people may not understand that comment. Jazz hands. I love it. Let's see, what else? Pickle tickle. Oh my God, do I hear the magic words? Do I hear the magic words? Did somebody call me? I've been summoned. What do you want? I was busy in some Jews, just being in conservation. So, hello everybody. I'm the pickle. I didn't prepare a dance for today, but I will prepare one for the weekend if you want me to. Okay, enough of that. There you go. Pickle Tickle was in the house, at least for a second. Is the okay sign rude in Mexico? Asks Mushi. If you mean this one, as in everything is okay, in Mexico you have nothing to worry about. In Brazil, you just called somebody an asshole. So, food for thought. Let's see. I love prayer hands. Absolutely. I do. I namaste my way through. Oh gosh, namaste my whole. Remember when we talked about that porno movie? It must have been Sunday. Never mind. Namaste, my whole. Never mind. But no, I do namaste. I do this all the time, and this has been even before the pandemic. This was my preferred method of saying hello. Let's see. Da, 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 da. I can see the IKEA armoire fall apart in my house after 2 years in high humidity, but the kitchen articles are fun. I love it. I love it. I love it. I have to go back and watch that video because I don't remember how the Egyptians walk. Well, it's not about yours or mine, Sean. I just happened to bump into the weirdest title for a porno movie the other day, and it was a gay porno movie, and it was called Namaste Your Hole. And it was definitely not my hole. It was definitely not your hole. But we thought it was absolutely funny to see that there was a porno flick with that name. Trust me, I didn't come up with the name. Let me see. Does anyone know what is happening with the gas station at Costco? It must be paperwork. It must be paperwork. I really don't know what is going on. I didn't know that this in American Sign Language meant asshole. It's good to know. never mind using that anymore. I don't know. What are we going to do? We cannot even express ourselves. Speaking of expressing ourselves, since Claude is anxiously wanting to know what happened with this, let me tell you. No, not with that. Jesus. El Buen Fin. Yes, that's an ad that just jumped up on my screen. El Buen Fin, the big sale ends tomorrow. What I want to let you know is that the Senate met and they approved what seems to be the ability to carry up to 200 grams of weed. And this is going to go to the high chambers tomorrow. What does this mean exactly? Well, it's still a little bit tricky. The documents recognize, where is the paragraph? Hold on. The document that they are submitting recognizes the consumption for adults, and it provides giving permissions for associations to be able to commercialize and produce marijuana. But it also provides some restrictions as to how you store it in your house. If you store it in your house, in your own private home, this makes no sense to me, because why would the authorities come into your house to find out how you're storing your weed is a mystery to me. But apparently, if they find out that you're storing your stash in such a way that it is accessible to minors, you're going to get into trouble. But the bottom line, according to what I'm reading today, which is a little bit imprecise because we know how some of these reporters work, is that you're going to be able to have as much as 200 grams in your possession, and you will only be fined. Only be fined. They cannot put you in jail. You cannot be taken anywhere. If you have more than 200 grams on you, then they can consider you that you can be filed with criminal charges and you can be sent away. So this is all becoming a little bit more clear. I will have more news about this as they become available. I thought this was an important article to share that I found at Huffington Post, and I want to share it with you. What to say to people who say you're being too safe amid COVID-19. And I like some of the suggestions that this article offers. I am not going to go through them right now because you can go through them on your own if you choose to do so. But what is clear to me and what has been clear to us as a community, I hope, is that we are all navigating at different stages of comfort, and we need to learn to be supportive and to show empathy to people that are in different stages. That's just the nature of the beast. Also from Huffington Post, I found this beautiful essay. I love my grown children, but I'm not willing to die because of their pandemic choices. I worry that you simply hanging out with your friends will be the end of me. And this is an essay written by a parent as addressing his or her children coming home for Thanksgiving, which I can see is becoming a major source of concern in the United States, and I can certainly understand that. I also got another news item, well, not a news item, but a query by someone privately that is wondering if I could talk about the blood donor situation in Puerto Vallarta. Apparently, a longtime resident, Ray Stolte, is urgently in need. He needs A negative or A minus, how do you call it in English? A negative and O negative, or A minus and O minus? I don't know. And I must say that I am not well versed in the ins and outs of blood donorship, because I'm gay, and for the most part, well, in the United States, I used to not be able to donate. Here in Mexico, I don't even know if I'm able to donate. I will check in with Pam Thompson to see if she has any kinds of guidelines as far as this is concerned. But ultimately, I think the hospitals themselves are the best source of information for this, unless somebody in the community has comments about this. Let me, before I move into my final thing, which has to do with Apaches, let me take a quick look at your final comments. La 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 la, la 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 la. Wait till you see my Christmas pickle. You're going to love him. Does that mean there will be a marijuana store on every block? Well, Earl, hopefully not in every block, but hopefully at some point it will become demystified as it has been demystified elsewhere. There's a lot of opinion going on this, Earl. There is a lot of people. There are a lot of people that are for it. There are a lot of people that are against it, um, and you know, like any important issue, it's going to be up for debate, and there's going to be some people. There are going to be some people that are going to agree, and there are going to be some people that are going to disagree. Um, to wrap things up, I want to talk about somebody who addressed me and sent a long message about an incident that took place at Apaches. This is apparently someone that has been an Apaches client for over a decade, and was surprised when she showed up, and she was refused the sitting arrangement that she wanted, and was offered the option of sitting with other people she didn't know, and she felt uncomfortable with that option, and and she told me. She chose to tell me, and so figured, I'm going to tell you because I think you should know, and I appreciate that. But here are some thoughts for this particular person to consider, and for everybody else to consider. And I'm going to frame these thoughts in the context of what's going on now and how we live our lives moving forward. Um, Number one, the being a client of a place for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years is something that can be comforting, but I wouldn't hold on to that. I don't think that I can be entitled to anything just because I've been going to a business for over a decade, simply because business owners change. And even though businesses try their best to accommodate everyone, I personally don't think that adds a lot of weight. I choose to go to a business because it's a good business, but in no moment would I feel entitled to say, well, I've been your client for this long. Do something special for me just because it's not in my personal nature. Um, I happen to know for a fact that Apaches changed ownership not even 2 or 3 years ago. So that, the new owners may or may not want to do things the way the previous owners were doing it. But this particular person said two things that pushed my buttons in an interesting way. One of the comments was, um, "This is very important to me," and and I appreciate that this is very important to you, dear watcher. But how many bars are there in this town? Um, when we get to a place and it doesn't feel safe, we've talked about this before, we can choose to turn around. We can choose to sit down and endure. We can choose to tell on the place. We can choose on leaving on a huff. We can choose to do all kinds of things. We can choose to go on rants and raves, or raves and rants, or whatever it's called, and tell the world. We can choose to do a lot of things. Um, the question is, what do we choose to do that is going to make us waste the smallest amount of emotional energy? For me personally, it's as simple as, I'm approaching your place. I don't like the arrangement. Maybe I'll go and sit across the street, and maybe I'll like the arrangement better. So to me, that kind of a comment says more about our ability to become new people with new habits in this new world that we live in. And some people have a lot of that ability, and some people don't have a lot of that ability. And, again, if it is that important to you, it's kind of like, why is it a big deal then? One of our viewers yesterday sent me 3 or 4 email messages yesterday because he was not getting his reminders for the show at the proper time, and tried to blame me for that. And I said to him privately, if this show is so important to you, why do you need a reminder? We always come on at the same time, 10:30 in the morning, every single day. We've only missed one day between March 31st and today. So why is it that important? And the last bit that definitely pushed my button in not a good way came from this same person talking about Apaches. And I'm sorry, my dear friend, you're not going to like my reaction, but she said, given how the gay men's community is not behaving responsibly in this, I would never want strangers forced on my table. Well, I would never want strangers forced on my table, but I would not want anyone on my table that thinks the way you think. For someone to make such a blanket statement and say the gay community is not behaving responsible is as powerful and questionably constructive as saying the white community or the Jewish community or the immigrant community or even the dreaded word, the expat community. I mean, ugh, I'm sorry, that just pushes me in the wrong way, and it's a powerful reminder to me to never generalize like that. And if I ever generalize like that here, I count on you to tell me uh, that I've done so and to call me up on it, because I know I've called you up on it a lot of times, and I will continue to do that to keep this community safe. Last but certainly not least, as far as Apaches or any business that is trying to move forward in this very uncertain time with very uncertain, ever changing guidelines, folks, we need to be patient. We need to be kind. And if you agree, then this is Coffee and Headlines. If you don't agree, well, talk it out with your friends. Talk it out with your favorite parrot. I mean, just bounce ideas around and ultimately find a place where you feel comfortable, be it a live broadcast or a bar or a restaurant. We have shitloads of those here in town. And that's it. I'm sorry. I get all worked up about these things. And I shouldn't. But I have to express my opinion. You are welcome to agree or disagree. But ultimately, we have to exercise our own personal responsibility and simply go where we feel comfortable. End of discussion. If you want to waste a lot of energy frowning about it and getting all huffy and puffy, see, now I'm rambling. Time to go. I'm going to take a quick look at your reactions just to see if anybody slapped me. And no, it's not necessary to, watch out some of your comments as well, like Enrique, who calls this person a Karen. And there was another question about another Karen. Also part of being responsible as a community is also learning to be responsible about our responses. Would I call this person a xenophobic racist? Definitely not. Definitely not. I simply call this person as someone that is at a different comfort level than mine. And as such, I'm hoping to offer a path, an alternative way of thinking. But we are just as bad, Elizabeth. I'm sorry to say this, but we are just as bad when we start calling names. So think about it. Just think about it. I think I am done. I think we are done. So, again, let's call her Lady. In Mexico, we don't use a specific name. Let's call her Lady. And we all have lady moments and Lord moments here in Mexico. I think we're done. I think we are done. So, oh my God, Paul is having a similar problem because Paul is starting his brand new drag brunch at Hotel Mercurio this weekend. A shameless plug for that. Saturday and Sunday, this is going to be a new offering at Hotel Mercurio. You can enjoy drag brunch. And drag brunch means that there's a hostess and somebody that's going to show you around and who's going to be wearing drag. And there's going to be beautiful, sexy busboys that you can slap around if they don't do their job. And if you don't have any fabulous accessories, like some things that I wear from time to time, Hotel Mercurio is going to provide strategically sterilized feather boas and caps and gowns and all kinds of notions so that you can have drag brunch in style. And I think that's all that I have for you. Again, let us try to watch our comments. I know it's easy to add adjectives and all kinds of things to people. Let us just try to treat people in a nice way. I'm sure that when this particular person tried to blame the entire gay community, she didn't mean any harm. And hopefully she will think about it that way. Maybe she'll think about how she'll express her thoughts in the future. But I don't feel attacked by it. I just feel it is important that we all remember to think about how we voice our thoughts. With that said in mind, thank you very much for sticking around. Thank you very much for being the kind and supportive community that we hope we are and that I'm hoping we continue to be. It is Thursday. Tomorrow is the beginning of the weekend. I'm looking forward to that. So stay kind, stay wonderful, stay in touch, stay open minded, and stay compassionate. I will see you soon.